What makes Metallica Metallica? What part of it, if you extract, Metallica is no more? There's one thing without which the band cannot be. And at the same time, if we apply this thing to anything else, it instantly turns into the band. Hi friends, it's Andriy Vasilenko and welcome to Metallic Geek. And Metallica released their third episode of the official Metallica podcast, called the Metallica Podcast. If you are new here, we have reviewed the two previous episodes. There were new discoveries about Metallica, new facts, and so what's new for this time? They finally got to how they recorded the songs. And that's the stuff we are always looking for.
A lot of hours playing the same stuff over and over and over again that I didn't really think was necessary.
Let's write the simplest song out of this riff.
As long as you're hooked, it's good.
Yeah.
And probably the most fun part of the episode, that the boy who said the prayer in Enter Sandman did it again 30 years later. And he talks about the story, how he got to record it.
Pray the Lord, my soul to keep.
Go listen to it entirely, 40 minutes of Metallica talk, including Jason Newsted. Man, and have you answered the question in the beginning, what makes Metallica Metallica? The one thing without which it cannot be? Well, after this episode of the podcast, there's no doubts about it to me. This is James's vocals. Up to 1991.
The instruments were the primary thing, and the vocals were almost like a necessary evil, or it was sort of something. It was just, okay, there's gotta be some vocals in there.
They just needed vocals, and James was there to kinda be a temporary singer. He did not want to sing, he had to do it, and eventually he got to like it. And he got to be really good at it. 4 records of struggle, he had to double his vocals because that's what everyone did to hide the imperfections.
I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or a dream.
And in 1991, he decided he gonna sing as he is. He gonna tell his stories, his lyrics, in his real voice, with no gimmicks. And Bob Rock backed him up in this.
He really just said, I want to sing. I want to have a big sound. And the change in his vocal from being doubled to just a single voice where somebody's great lyrics, great melodies, it was just very listenable.
They dedicate their lives to running all of hills.
He encouraged him to go just with one solid take. And through some,
Ooh, or a yeah, whatever, a little thing that you do live, without the F-bomb or something, but like what? I'm not like what, smokestack lightning, yeah, baby.
Because yeah, if you listen closely, not so closely, to the previous songs, James just sang the lyrics and sometimes, occasionally, some accidental noises he's known for. There's more yaks and like on Black Album than on the previous 4 albums. Can you believe that up until Master of Puppets, including, they were looking for a singer, and Cliff Burton's death postponed it to an extent because James felt like he needed to become more of a core of the band with Lars, and allowing another guy from outside was risky. And by 1991, the vocals that was necessary evil, as Lars said, became the necessary part of Metallica, without which, again, can you imagine it? Can you imagine Metallica without that timbre? And ironically, on the album that unleashed his vocals, he blew it. And yeah, that was another reason why he changed his style, to be more careful and actually be more like he is in real life, without much of drive that was hurting his throat.
Dear mother, dear father!
Which subsequently was even more the case on Load and Reload. And then Garage Inc. came, and that was the proof that Metallica could take any song and make it their own, just by basically adding James's vocals. Yeah, I discussed it in an episode of Metallic Geek podcast from April or May, I think. The link in the description, how to make any song sound like Metallica. And that's the discussion of Garage Inc. And over the years, all the styles that Metallica went through, thrash from the 80s, then the solid heavy metal Black Album, blues and hard rock inspired kind of metal on Load and Reload, all sorts of different stuff on Garage Inc., symphony metal, Saint Anger, whatever was that. Death Magnetic was kind of the return, Hardwired was kind of everything. And let's not forget about let's forget every time you knew it's Metallica because, James, first of all, they changed the composing style, they changed the structures, the complexity, everything, let alone the sound of guitar and drums. But one thing remained. That's James's voice. And that's probably why songs such as Nothing Else Matters and Mama Said It were not supposed to be Metallica, but something really personal to James, really worked for the band. And you cannot imagine Metallica's catalog without this. Alongside quite the opposite stuff like Black Hand and Darcy. The instrumentals is a bit different story, but you got the point. And that's maybe not the reason, but another angle to look at it, why James never did solo projects. Because they would sound basically like Metallica. And yeah, he really invested into the band. Because he is the band. Remember the time when Lars could not play in but James still sang. That felt right. But when James was not capable of doing his job, when the bunch of guys who were on the tour, System of a Down and others, stepped up to sing the songs, Jason sang half of the set list. That felt much more artificial. And if not Jason, that would really sound like just fucking covered jam band. So yeah, what do you think? Is there a more important thing than James's voice to Metallica sound, to Metallica style, and being actually the band that everyone, not everyone, but that millions love? Do you think there is a future of Metallica if there's no James singing there? If they turn into an instrumental band? And actually the same applies to Megadeth. I never cared about Dave's voice, I was neutral about it. People hate it, but Mustaine's voice is Megadeth's too. He gone through a lot of struggle with his throat and surgeries and cancer, and you cannot imagine another singer in Megadeth. Or actually a singer. And I believe that's the thing that is fading away. There's no frontmans now, there's no need for such a guy. Now it's more like the opposite. Whenever I hear a new band and I hear someone sing, I wanna say, shut the f*** up! Let me enjoy the riffs! Alright, there's more stuff to the episode, go check it out. There's Kirk discussing his solo from Sandman. You know how I like it. Also how Bob Rock taught Jason to follow the drums instead of just following the guitar. Next time they're gonna be talking about the struggle while recording the album, and the episode's called, I think, The Struggle Within, yeah? What an obvious choice. Follow the Metallica podcast, follow Metallica Geek podcast and our blog. There's all kinds of Metallica information in video, audio, in textual form. Thanks for watching, it's Andrei Vasilenko, and be in metal.